So today we're going over the suspicious death of Yevgeny Prigozhin of the Wagner Group. Those of you who don't know, Yevgeny Prigozhin is a very famous Russian oligarch, and he was almost the right hand of Vladimir Putin up until the rebellion in June of 2023. So the fallout between Prigozhin and Vladimir Putin actually started between disagreements of how the war was being handled. Vladimir Putin was just advertising that a bunch of Russian military troops were dying when in reality it was Wagner Group's private mercenaries who kept on being killed in the war. And so Prigozhin, who was the representative of Wagner Group and the founder, of course, was not taking it. So he openly stated in a very poor manner that he pretty much fuck Putin, we're going to be doing our own thing. And so then Putin actually put out an exile notice for the Wagner Group and its leader. And so what happened over the span of June 2023 was that the Wagner Group moved over to Belarus as a safe haven, even though Belarus is pretty much a puppet state of Russia, right? Skipping a bunch of time to present day, yesterday, we'll say, August 23 of 2023, it was mysteriously announced that Prigozhin was killed in a plane crash with 9 other people. Of course, that's by the Russian state media that they confirmed it, so it could have been a handful of different incidents that went on. It was no doubt that the Russian state was going to retaliate in some way for Prigozhin's actions, and they're not just going to let it go, you know. So this could have been a subtle move by Russia in order to take care of their problem and send a message, or it could have been a handful of others that I'm going to be going over. I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist personally, but I'm going to put down all of the options that are actually seem possible because the Russian state media, of course, is not going to be the most reliable of sources, so there are many options that could actually happen. So theory number 1 is that Prigozhin faked his own death. So there was an official flight listing of everybody that was supposed to be flying on that plane itself, and Prigozhin was listed as one. Now, if Prigozhin's private business jet, however, actually crashed and got taken down along with the flight list, it would be a very reasonable idea to say that Prigozhin was probably on that aircraft and died, right? Or there was a whole nother situation going on and Prigozhin actually faked his own death and never was on that plane, which is very much possible as well, considering this is one of the most powerful private military leaders in all of the world. Now, let's say Prigozhin did fake his own death. Where would he go? What is he doing? Well, Belarus previously did offer the Wagner Group a safe haven to be for the time being, but would Prigozhin actually be staying there? Probably not, because it would be the first place that Russian authorities would actually be looking. So where else would he go? Another satellite state? Another party of the private military? Anywhere else where Wagner Group is entitled to operate? Maybe even a black site for a few months? Who actually knows? Theory number 2 is exactly how it is. The Russian military, the FSB, whoever else actually caught up to Prigozhin and then killed him by either sending a missile into the plane, actually tampering with the mechanical hardware of the plane, convincing somebody to do something that made the plane crash, and then the Russian state media posted Prigozhin's death and all over the media just to send a warning not to mess with Vladimir Putin, and that is an excellent move by the Kremlin if that is true. Theory number 3, which could be even more likely than the rest of them, is that Prigozhin was actually captured and is being held at a black site by the Russian state. Now, when it comes to intelligence agencies like the FSB, CIA, Mossad, you know, all of those other agencies, they always have black sites and their own methods of how they handle their situations. Now, Prigozhin could have actually been captured by the Russian state and be in a military prison for all we know, and then the Russian media, as another disavowalment method, posted that Prigozhin's dead and a warning to everybody else, like once again. So now nobody would be questioning Prigozhin's whereabouts because he's already dead, and now the Russian military pretty much has everything they need to keep Prigozhin in like a military prison without any suspicion being arised. Now, like I said, I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, but when it comes to the leader of the Wagner Group, one of the largest private militaries in the entire world, it is awfully suspicious that a plane crash is the death of a famous Russian oligarch with tons of wealth, tons of military background, and tons of force behind him. So those are just the theories I laid down, and who knows if they're actually true. But I hope you guys liked this video. Please like and subscribe if you guys want to see more.